The sky turned purple, then black. Hyunwoo watched the storm approach through the thick windows of his research station. He had seen many storms on Kasara 7, but this one looked different. The clouds moved faster, and lightning cracked the air in ways that made his skin tingle even from inside the protected dome. He moved through the station quickly, checking each seal and lock. 3 years alone on this planet had taught him to respect the weather. The storms here could melt metal and strip flesh from bone in seconds. The plasma lightning didn't just shock you. It burned hot enough to turn sand into glass. His computer, Tae-yang, spoke in a calm voice. Storm category upgraded to level 5. Recommend immediate shelter protocols. Already on it, Hyunwoo said, closing the last external vent. He had maybe 20 minutes before the storm hit. 20 minutes to make sure everything was secure. After that, he would wait it out like always. Alone. Safe. Bored. He grabbed a food pack from the storage unit and headed to the main room. This would be his home for the next 2 days while the storm raged outside. He had books loaded on his tablet, research data to review, and messages from his wife and daughter to watch again. The same routine he had followed 100 times before. Then the motion sensor blinked red. Hyunwoo stopped. He stared at the small light on the wall panel. Red meant something living was outside, something big enough to register on the sensors. His mind raced through possibilities. The native animals all took shelter before storms. They could sense the plasma building in the air. Nothing should be out there now. He ran to the security monitors and pulled up the external cameras. At first he saw nothing but the dark landscape and the approaching wall of storm clouds. Then he saw it. A figure walking, stumbling, falling, getting up again. "What the hell?" Hyunwoo whispered. The figure was small, smaller than him. It wore some kind of suit, but even on the grainy camera feed he could see it was damaged. Torn in places. The figure fell again, and this time took longer to get up. Tae-yang's voice cut through his thoughts. Unknown life form detected. Distance 200 meters. Storm arrival 15 minutes. Hyunwoo's training told him to stay inside. Protocol was clear. Never compromise station security for unknowns. Never risk your life for something you can't identify. Call for help and wait. But 15 minutes. In 15 minutes, that thing out there would be dead, cooked by plasma lightning or torn apart by the wind. No rescue could arrive in time. His hand moved to the external airlock controls before his brain finished thinking. The outer door opened. Through the camera, he saw the figure's head turn toward the station. It started moving faster now, running despite obvious injuries. "Come on," Hyunwoo muttered. "Come on, move." The figure was 100 meters away. Then 70. The storm wall was visible now. A solid mass of purple-black energy racing across the plains. Lightning danced inside it like angry snakes. 50 meters. The wind picked up. Hyunwoo could hear it now, even through the thick walls. It sounded like a monster screaming. 30 meters. The figure fell again. This time it didn't get up right away. Hyunwoo's heart pounded. He wanted to run out there and drag whoever it was inside, but that would kill them both. The storm was too close, too fast. "Get up," he said to the screen. "Please get up." The figure moved. It crawled at first, then found its feet again. 20 meters. 10. It reached the airlock entrance just as the first edge of the storm hit the station. The building shook. Alarms screamed. Hyunwoo slammed his hand on the door control. The outer door closed. The inner door opened. The figure fell through into the entry chamber and collapsed on the floor. Hyunwoo didn't wait. He ran to the entry chamber, grabbed the figure under the arms and dragged it fully inside. The inner door sealed shut just as something massive hit the outer wall. The whole station shuddered like a ship in rough seas. He laid the figure on the floor and quickly checked for injuries. The suit was definitely damaged, torn in several places. But underneath he could see skin. Scales. Iridescent scales that caught the light in rainbow patterns. An alien. He had just saved an alien. The alien's eyes opened. They were huge, taking up almost a third of the face. Beautiful eyes like liquid gold with flecks of green. Those eyes focused on Hyunwoo's face. Then the alien screamed. The sound was high and sharp, full of pure terror. The alien scrambled backward so fast it hit the wall with a painful thump. It pressed itself into the corner, making itself as small as possible. Its whole body shook. Hyunwoo raised his hands, palms out. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe. I won't hurt you." But the alien just shook harder. Those golden eyes were fixed on him with an expression he knew too well. Fear. Deep, primal fear. The kind of fear you felt when facing something that could kill you. The alien was afraid of him. Hyunwoo took a slow step backward. He kept his hands visible and moved carefully. I'm going to back away now, he said, still speaking softly. Give you some space, okay? The alien didn't answer. It just watched him with those terrified eyes. He backed up until he was across the room, then slowly sat down on the floor, making himself smaller, less threatening. Outside, the storm hit full force. The building groaned under the assault. Plasma lightning lit up the windows in bright purple flashes. They were trapped together now. For at least 2 days. A human and an alien who was clearly terrified of him. Hyunwoo had encountered other species before. He knew humans had a reputation in the galaxy. Other species called them the endurance breed, or sometimes the death worlders. Stories spread about human strength, human stubbornness, human violence. He had hoped those were just stories, propaganda left over from old conflicts. But looking at this alien cowering in the corner, he understood. The stories had done their work. To this creature, he was a monster. My name is Hyunwoo, he said quietly. I'm a scientist. I study the plants and animals here. I live alone. He pointed to himself. Hyunwoo, human friend. The alien's shaking slowed slightly but didn't stop. Hyunwoo noticed the alien's breathing was too fast. Panic breathing. If it kept that up, it might pass out. He slowly reached to his side and pulled out his water bottle. He took a long drink, then carefully rolled the bottle across the floor toward the alien. It stopped halfway between them. Water, he said. You need water. It's safe. The alien looked at the bottle like it might explode. Then it looked back at Hyunwoo. Those golden eyes studied his face, searching for something. Threat? Deception? Truth? Outside, the storm screamed louder. The building shook again. The alien flinched at every sound, but never took its eyes off Hyunwoo. He settled more comfortably on the floor and smiled gently. Not showing teeth. He had learned that showing teeth scared some species. Just a small, closed-mouth smile. It's going to be a long storm, he said softly. But you're safe here. I promise, you're safe. The alien pulled its knees up to its chest and wrapped its arms around them. Still shaking. Still watching. Still afraid. Hyunwoo stayed very still. Outside, the plasma storm raged against the walls of his small refuge. Inside, human and alien watched each other across a distance of 3 meters that felt like 1,000 light years. Part 2. Trapped together. Morning came, but the storm didn't leave. Hyunwoo woke up on the floor where he had fallen asleep. His neck hurt from the awkward position. He had stayed in the main room all night, not wanting to leave the alien alone and frightened. The alien was still in the same corner. Its eyes were closed now, but Hyunwoo could tell it wasn't really sleeping. The breathing was wrong. Too alert. Too ready to run. It was just resting with one eye open, so to speak. The water bottle was empty. That was good. At least the alien had drunk something. Hyunwoo stood slowly, making sure his movements were obvious and non-threatening. The alien's eyes snapped open immediately. Back to watching. Back to being afraid. Good morning, Hyunwoo said softly. He walked to the kitchen area, moving slowly. I'm going to make breakfast. Are you hungry? The alien didn't answer. It probably didn't understand him anyway, but talking felt better than silence. Taeyang's voice came from the wall speaker. Storm intensity remains at level 5. Duration estimate updated to 5 days. Hyunwoo stopped stirring the eggs. 5 days? You said 2 days yesterday. Atmospheric readings have changed. This storm system is larger than initial projections indicated. 5 days. Hyunwoo looked at the alien in the corner. 5 days trapped together with someone who was terrified of him. This was going to be challenging. He finished cooking and divided the food onto 2 plates. He ate from one plate first, taking several bites, chewing obviously. Then he took the other plate and set it on the floor, sliding it gently toward the alien. See? Not poisoned. Just eggs and vegetables. It's what I eat every day. The alien stared at the plate, then at Hyunwoo, then back at the plate. It didn't touch the food. Hyunwoo sighed quietly and returned to his own breakfast. Maybe later. Maybe when the alien got hungry enough. An hour passed. Hyunwoo worked at his computer station, logging notes about plant samples he had collected before the storm. He kept his back partially to the alien, trying to seem less threatening. Less focused on it, Taeyang, he said. Do we have translation software for other species? Yes, database includes 47 known languages from the Galactic Federation. Can you identify what species our guest is? There was a pause. Then Tae-Yang spoke again. Based on visual analysis, the individual appears to be Velkan, mammalian species from the Velka system, known for artistic culture and peaceful disposition, physiologically fragile compared to human baseline. Velkan. Hyunwoo had heard of them. Nice people from what he remembered. Very community-oriented. They lived in large family groups and valued harmony above almost everything. Can you translate if they speak? Yes, Velkan language is in the database. Hyunwoo glanced back at the alien. The Velkan. It had moved slightly, no longer pressed quite so hard into the corner. Progress, maybe. Hello, he said clearly. Tae-Yang will translate. Can you understand me now? A moment later, the computer spoke again, this time in a language of musical chirps and soft sounds. The Velkan's eyes went wide, then it spoke. Its voice was high and melodic, beautiful even in fear. Tae-Yang translated immediately. Stay away from me, please, I don't want to fight. Hyunwoo kept his voice gentle. I don't want to fight either. I want to help. You were dying in the storm. I brought you inside. The Velkan's golden eyes searched his face. You're human. Yes, humans are dangerous. The word stung, but Hyunwoo understood. Some humans are dangerous. Some Velkans are probably dangerous too. But I'm not. I'm just a scientist who lives alone and studies plants. I've heard stories about humans. You survive things that kill everyone else. You're strong. Fast, you heal from terrible wounds. You don't stop fighting even when you should die. Hyunwoo thought about that. That's all true. Humans are tough. We come from a very hard planet. But that doesn't make us monsters. You come from a death world. We call it Earth. And yes, it's harder than most planets. That's why we're built like this, he gestured to himself. But we're not cruel. We don't hurt people for fun. The Velkan was quiet for a long moment. Then it spoke again, softer this time. My name is Dasam. Hyunwoo smiled his closed-mouth smile. I'm Hyunwoo. I'm very glad to meet you, Dasam, even if the circumstances aren't great. Dasam looked down at the plate of food still sitting untouched on the floor. Is it really safe? Yes, I promise. I ate from the same pan. If it were poisoned, I'd be sick too. Why would you feed me? I'm nothing to you. The question surprised Hyunwoo. You're a person who needed help. That's enough reason. Dasam slowly reached out and pulled the plate closer. She picked up a piece of vegetable with her fingers and examined it carefully. Then, watching Hyunwoo the whole time, she put it in her mouth. She chewed, swallowed, waited, as if expecting something terrible to happen. Nothing did. She took another bite. Then another. Soon she was eating quickly, hunger overcoming fear. Hyunwoo turned back to his computer, giving her privacy. Tae-Yang asked her if she was on a ship. Why was she out in the storm? The computer translated the question. Dasam answered between bites. Medical transport. We were carrying supplies to the colony on the southern continent. Something went wrong with the engines. The pilot tried to land, but her voice broke slightly. We crashed. I woke up in the wreckage. There were others. My sister Jiwon was with me. I tried to help her, but then I saw the storm coming. She told me to run. To find shelter. To survive. Where is the crash site? I don't know. I ran for so long. Everything looks the same on this planet. Hyunwoo pulled up a map on his screen. When the storm passes, we'll find it. We'll look for survivors. We? Dasam looked up sharply. You would help? Of course. Your sister might still be alive. Others too, if they found shelter in the wreckage. But you don't know us. We're nothing to you. She repeated the phrase as if testing it, as if she couldn't understand why it didn't matter. Hyunwoo turned to face her fully. That's not how humans think. Or at least that's not how I was raised to think. If someone needs help, you help them. It doesn't matter if they're family or strangers. It doesn't matter if they're your species or not. But it's dangerous. Going out there. Yes. You could die helping people you don't know. Yes. Why would you risk that? Hyunwoo thought about how to explain. Because we know what it's like to need help and have no one answer. Earth was very hard on humans. We almost went extinct several times in our early history. We learned that survival means everyone survives, or eventually no one does. Daesum stared at him. The fear in her eyes was different now, not pure terror. Something more complicated. Confusion mixed with wonder. I don't understand humans, she said quietly. Hyunwoo laughed softly. Sometimes I don't either. But I promise you, Daesum, you're safe here. While the storm lasts, this is your home too, and when it passes, we'll find your sister. Outside, the wind screamed louder. The building shook. Plasma lightning turned the windows bright purple. Dasam flinched but didn't retreat to the corner. Instead, she pulled the blanket Hyunwoo had left near her earlier. She wrapped it around her shoulders. "Thank you," she said, "for saving me. For the food. For everything. You're welcome." They sat in silence for a while. The storm raged. But inside, something had shifted. The distance between them felt smaller. That night, Dasam fell asleep before finishing her dinner. Exhaustion finally caught up with her. Hyunwoo quietly took the plate away and covered her more completely with the blanket. He went to his own sleeping area, finally feeling like maybe he could rest properly. As he lay down, he heard Dasam murmur something in her sleep. Taeyang translated automatically, very quietly. "Maybe not all monsters are real." Hyunwoo smiled in the darkness. It was a start. Part 3. Understanding the monster. Dasam woke to sunlight on her face. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then memory came flooding back. The crash. The storm. The human. She sat up quickly and looked around. Hyunwoo was across the room at his workstation, studying something on his screen. He had his back to her, giving her space. On the floor beside her blanket was a tray with breakfast. Warm food and a cup of something that smelled sweet. She touched the cup carefully. Still warm. He must have just brought it. "Good morning," Hyunwoo said without turning around. His voice was soft, gentle. "That's tea. It's safe for Velkans to drink. I checked the database. It should taste a little like honey." Daesam picked up the cup and sipped. It did taste like honey, sweet and warming. Her hand stopped shaking as she drank. "How did you know I was awake?" she asked. "Your breathing changed." He still didn't turn around. "I have good hearing." It's a human thing. Daesam thought about that. She had heard stories about human senses. Some said humans could track prey by scent alone. Others said they could hear heartbeats from across a room. She'd always thought those were just scary stories. Maybe they weren't all stories. She ate the breakfast slowly, some kind of grain with fruit mixed in. It was good. Better than good. Hyunwoo could cook. "The storm is getting weaker," Hyunwoo said. "Taeyang thinks it will pass in maybe 2 more days. Then we can look for your sister." 2 more days. Dasam felt relief and worry at the same time. Relief that the storm would end. Worry about what they would find at the crash site. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Of course, and why do other species fear humans so much? I mean, I understand you're strong and tough, but there are other strong species. Other predators in the galaxy. Why are humans different?" Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. Then he turned his chair to face her. "That's a good question. I think it's because humans don't quit. Most species, when things get too hard, they give up or die. Humans just keep going. We keep fighting. We keep trying. Some species see that as inspiring. Others see it as terrifying." "It sounds exhausting," Hyunwoo laughed. "It is very exhausting. But it's how we survived on Earth. What was Earth like? Really like?" He thought about how to explain. "Imagine a planet that's trying to kill you every day. Weather that changes from burning hot to freezing cold. Predators everywhere, diseases, poisonous plants. Not enough food. Too much competition. Earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, droughts. Earth had all of it." Dasam felt cold just hearing the description. "How did you survive?" "We learned to work together. We learned to adapt. We learned to use tools and make shelters. We learned to run long distances to chase prey because we couldn't run fast. We learned to throw rocks because we weren't strong enough to fight with claws." He smiled. "We learned to be stubborn and clever instead of being big and powerful. And now other species think you're monsters because you won't die easily." "Yes. During the first contact wars, human ships got damaged in ways that would destroy any other species' vessel. But humans would keep the ship running with spare parts and determination. We'd patch holes with whatever we could find. We'd survive on minimal life support. Other species saw that and thought we were insane. Were you?" Hyunwoo shrugged. "Maybe a little. But we also had people on those ships, friends, family. We don't leave people behind if we can help it. That's not insane. That's loyalty." Dasam was beginning to understand, so the reputation grew from there. Yes. Stories got bigger with each telling. Humans who survived vacuum exposure for a few seconds became humans who could walk in space with no protection. Humans who healed from broken bones became humans who could regrow limbs. The truth is impressive enough. The stories made us into nightmares. They talked for hours. Hyunwoo told her about Earth, about human culture, about his family back home. Dasam told him about Velka, about her life there, about her sister Jiwon who was studying medicine. At one point, Hyunwoo showed her his research. He had samples of plants from Kasara 7, each one labeled and documented. He handled them so carefully with such gentle precision that Dasam found herself relaxing even more. "This one is beautiful," she said, looking at a plant with silver leaves. "Isn't it? It stores water in those leaves. Very efficient." He touched it softly. "Life finds a way to survive even here, even on a harsh planet. That's something humans understand very well." Later, Dasam asked if she could help with his work. Hyunwoo was surprised but pleased. He showed her how to catalog samples, how to take measurements, how to record observations. They worked side by side, and Dasam realized she had stopped flinching every time he moved. Then she made a mistake. She reached for a tool and knocked over a container. Glass broke, samples scattered, and her hand came down on a sharp edge. She cried out in pain. Blood welled up from a cut across her palm. Purple blood, darker than human red. Dasam froze. The stories came flooding back. Stories about humans and blood. About how the smell of injury triggered something primal in them. About how they became violent and aggressive when they sensed weakness. She pulled her hand close to her chest and backed away. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please don't." But Hyunwoo was already moving fast. Dasam's heart hammered in terror. He went to a cabinet and pulled out a white box. Medical supplies. He came back quickly but stopped when he saw her face. "Dasam," he said gently. "You're hurt. Let me help." "The blood," she whispered. "You can smell it." "Yes, my nose works fine. But that doesn't make me want to hurt you. It makes me want to help you." He held up the medical kit. "Oh, please, let me clean and bandage your hand." She extended her hand slowly, shaking. Hyunwoo sat down and opened the kit. His movements were careful and steady. He cleaned the wound with something that stung a little. Dasam watched his face. His expression was focused but calm. Concerned, not aggressive. "This might hurt," he warned before applying something else to the cut. It did hurt, but not too badly. Then he wrapped her hand in clean white bandage. "There," he said when he finished. "Keep it clean and dry. It should heal in a few days." Falcon healing is actually faster than human in most cases, according to the medical database. Dasam looked at her bandaged hand, then at Hyunwoo. "You weren't angry. About the mess. About the blood. Why would I be angry? Accidents happen. And blood is just blood. It means someone is hurt and needs help. That's all. But the stories are wrong." Hyunwoo's voice was firm. "Humans don't become monsters when we see blood. We become doctors, medics, friends trying to help. Yes, we can fight. Yes, we can be dangerous if we need to be. But our first instinct isn't violence. It's to help." Dasam felt something break inside her chest. All the fear she had carried about humans, about this human, started to crack apart. "I'm sorry," she said quietly, "for being so afraid of you. You've been nothing but kind, and I've treated you like a monster." Hyunwoo smiled his gentle smile. "You weren't wrong to be afraid. Fear keeps us alive. But now you know the truth. Now you know I'm just a person." That evening, they sat together and watched the storm through the window. Dasam was close enough to Hyunwoo now that their shoulders almost touched. She wasn't afraid anymore. "Can I ask you something personal?" she said. "Yes. Are you never afraid? Of anything?" Hyunwoo pulled out his datapad and showed her a picture, a woman with a kind face and a small child with bright eyes and a big smile. "This is my wife, Bora, and my daughter, Hana," he said. His voice was soft with emotion. "I'm afraid every single day that I'll never see them again. That something will happen out here and I won't make it home. That Hana will grow up without her father." Dasam looked at his face. She saw pain there, loneliness, love, fear, all the things she felt too. "Then why are you here? So far from home?" "Because the work matters. Because understanding other worlds helps humans and other species coexist. Because I want Hana to grow up in a galaxy where humans aren't feared, where we're trusted." He looked at Dasam. "Where we're friends with people like you." Dasam felt tears in her eyes. "I think you're doing good work, Hyunwoo." They sat in comfortable silence as the storm winds sang outside. The monster she had feared was gone. In his place was just a man. A man who missed his family, who cared about his work, who helped strangers in storms. Just a man who was also somehow extraordinary. Part 4. The search begins. On the 6th day, the storm finally died. The wind stopped its screaming. The plasma lightning faded to nothing. The purple-black clouds broke apart, revealing clear sky above. Hyunwoo stood at the window studying the landscape. The storm had changed everything. New sand dunes had formed. Rock formations had been worn down or shattered. The whole world looked different. Finding the crash site won't be easy, he said. The storm probably covered it with sand or debris. Dasam stood beside him, looking out at the alien landscape. We have to try. Ji-won could still be alive. Others too. Yes. Hyunwoo turned to his equipment locker. We'll need supplies. Water, food, medical kit, communication gear. I have a scanner that can detect metal and life signs. It's not perfect, but it should help. He started pulling out gear and equipment. Dasam watched him work, amazed at how quickly and efficiently he moved. He knew exactly what they needed and where everything was stored. Here, he said, holding up a protective suit. This is designed for humans, so it'll be too big for you. But I can modify it. Modify it how? Hyunwoo pulled out tools and started working on the suit. He shortened the arms and legs, adjusted the waist, and tightened the helmet seal. His hands moved with practiced skill, making changes that would have taken Dasam hours to figure out. He finished in less than 20 minutes. Try it on, he said. Dasam put on the suit. It was still a bit large, but it fit well enough. Most importantly, it would protect her from the harsh environment outside. How do you know how to do all this? She asked. The modifications, the repairs, all of it. Hyunwoo shrugged as he packed supplies into a carry bag. Growing up on Earth teaches you to fix things. Resources are limited. You can't just throw something away because it's broken. You learn to repair, adapt, and make do with what you have. He pulled out another bag and started loading it. This one was huge, almost as big as Dasam herself. He filled it with water containers, food packs, medical supplies, tools, and emergency equipment. That's too much, Dasam said. You can't carry all of that. Hyunwoo lifted the bag easily and slung it over his shoulder. Human muscle is denser than Velkan. I can carry about 3 times what you can. It's heavy but manageable. Dasam stared. The bag had to weigh as much as she did, but Hyunwoo held it like it was nothing. The stories about human strength weren't exaggerated. If anything, they were understated. They stepped outside into the bright sunlight. The air was thin and dry. Dasam felt the heat immediately, but her suit regulated her temperature. Hyunwoo checked his scanner, moving it slowly across the horizon. Based on where you came from when you arrived at my station, he said, and the direction you said you were running, the crash site should be roughly northeast. Maybe 5 or 6 kilometers, that far? You ran a long way in a damaged suit during the early stages of a storm. Hyunwoo looked at her with respect. That took serious courage. They started walking. The terrain was rough, covered in rocks and loose sand. Dasam found it difficult to keep her balance, but Hyunwoo moved across it like he was born to it. He never stumbled, never hesitated. He adjusted his path to avoid the most dangerous areas and helped Dasam when she struggled. After an hour, Dasam was breathing hard. After 2 hours, her legs felt like they were on fire. Hyunwoo called a rest stop. Drink, he said, handing her water. The air is dry. You need to stay hydrated. Dasam collapsed on a rock and drank deeply. She watched Hyunwoo, who was barely breathing hard. He wasn't even sweating much. How are you not tired? She asked. Oh, I'm tired. I just don't show it the same way. He smiled. Humans evolved to walk long distances. It's one of our best skills. We're not the fastest runners, but we can keep going basically forever. Our ancestors used to hunt animals by just walking after them until the animals collapsed from exhaustion. That's terrifying. It's called persistence hunting. Very effective. They rested for 10 minutes, then continued. The sun climbed higher. The heat grew worse. Dasam felt dizzy and sick, but she pushed on. Ji-won was out here somewhere. She had to keep going. Hyunwoo stopped suddenly. Scanner is picking up metal. Large quantity. Could be the ship. They moved faster now, following the scanner's signal. After another 30 minutes, they saw it. The wreckage of the transport ship, half buried in sand, torn and twisted by the crash and the storm. Dasam ran forward. Ji-won, sister, can you hear me? Her voice echoed off the metal. No answer came back. Hyunwoo caught up to her and put a hand on her shoulder. Carefully. The structure might be unstable. We'll check the main cabin first. That's where survivors would gather. They approached the wreck slowly. Part of the hull had been torn away, creating an opening. Hyunwoo pulled out a light and shined it inside. "Hello?" he called. "Is anyone in there?" "We're here to help." A voice came from deep inside the ship, weak but alive. "Help! We're here! Help us!" Dasam's heart leaped. "That's Jiwon." "That's my sister." She tried to climb through the opening, but Hyunwoo stopped her. "Wait, let me check if it's safe." The metal could shift. He climbed in carefully, testing each surface before putting his weight on it. Dasam watched anxiously from outside. A moment later, his voice called back, "It's stable. Come in, but watch your step." Dasam scrambled through the opening. Inside the darkened ship, her eyes adjusted slowly. She saw figures huddled in what used to be the passenger cabin. 3 Velkans, all alive but injured. Dasam, one of them, stood shakily. Jiwon, her sister. They rushed to each other and embraced. Dasam felt tears streaming down her face. "I thought I lost you. I thought you were dead." "We almost were," Jiwon said. Her voice was rough, strained. "We survived the crash, but then the storm came. We've been trapped here with no food and almost no water. We thought no one would find us in time." Behind Dasam, Hyunwoo entered the cabin. He had to duck to fit through the low doorway. The 3 survivors saw him and their expressions changed immediately to fear. "Human," one of them shouted. "Dasam, get away from it." Jiwon grabbed Dasam's arm and tried to pull her away. "Run, sister." "Run now." But Dasam didn't run. She stood between Hyunwoo and the other's arms spread wide. "Stop," she said firmly. "He's not dangerous. He saved my life. He brought me here to find you. He's helping us." The survivors stared at her like she had gone insane. An elderly Velkan male spoke up, his voice shaking. "Child, you don't understand. Humans are—" "I know what humans are," Dasam interrupted. "I've spent 6 days with this one. His name is Hyunwoo. He's a scientist. He's kind. He's here to help us get home safely." Hyunwoo slowly set down his heavy pack and raised his hands in a peaceful gesture. "I understand you're frightened. But Dasam is right. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I brought medical supplies, food, and water. Let me help you." The elderly Velkan studied Hyunwoo's face carefully. His fear didn't disappear, but it changed slightly. "I am Sungmin," he said slowly. "I have heard stories of humans. They say many things, but they also say this. If you earn a human's loyalty, they will walk through fire for you. If you earn a human's friendship, they will never betray you." He paused. "Are those stories true?" Hyunwoo met Sungmin's eyes. "I can't speak for all humans, but yes, loyalty and friendship matter very much to us. When we care about someone, we protect them. We help them. We don't abandon them." Sungmin nodded slowly. He turned to the other survivors. "Then perhaps we should trust this one. We are dying here. We have no other choice." Jiwon looked at her sister. "Dasam, are you sure?" Dasam smiled. "I'm sure. Hyunwoo is my friend. He will help us. I promise." Hyunwoo opened his pack and started distributing water and food. The survivors drank desperately, gratefully. He examined their injuries with gentle hands, cleaning wounds and applying bandages. His movements were careful and professional. As he worked, Sungmin watched him closely. "You are far from your home, human. Why are you here on this empty planet?" "Studying life," Hyunwoo said simply. "Trying to understand how different species adapt and survive. Trying to build bridges between humans and others." "Bridges," Sungmin repeated thoughtfully. "Yes, I think the galaxy needs more bridges and fewer walls." When everyone had been treated and fed, they all sat together in the damaged ship. Outside, the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Inside, a human and 4 Velkans rested, not as strangers, not as enemies, as something that might someday become friends. Part 5. The Complication. The next morning, Hyunwoo woke early to check his communication system. He had sent an emergency signal to Velkan authorities the moment the storm cleared. Now he needed to see if anyone had responded. The screen showed a new message. Relief washed over him for a moment. Then he read the message and his blood went cold. "No," he whispered. Dasam was beside him immediately. "What's wrong?" Velkan military responded. "A ship is coming," he pointed to the screen. "But they detected my presence. They think a human might be responsible for the crash." "That's ridiculous. You saved us." "They don't know that yet. Look at this." He pointed to another line in the message. "The commander is someone named Kwon. Does that name mean anything to you?" Sungmin, who had been resting nearby, sat up quickly. Commander Quan? He's leading the rescue? You know him? Sungmin's face was troubled. I know of him. He's a veteran. He fought in the border conflicts against human forces. He lost many friends in those battles. He has no love for your kind, Hyunwoo. Hyunwoo felt his stomach sink. Then this is going to be complicated, Ji-won spoke up. But we'll tell them the truth. We'll explain that you helped us. They'll have to listen, will they? Hyunwoo asked quietly. I'm a human found at the scene of a crashed Velkan ship. They're already suspicious. Quan is already predisposed to think the worst of humans. Even with your testimony, this could go very badly. Da-sam grabbed his arm. Then we leave. You go back to your station. We'll tell them you were never here. And lie to a military investigation. That will make things worse for all of you. But you saved us. It's not fair. Da-sam's voice was angry and desperate. Hyunwoo smiled sadly. No, it's not fair. But fear and prejudice rarely are. They spent the next hour in tense silence. The survivors ate the food Hyunwoo had brought. He checked their injuries again and redid some of the bandages. All the while his mind raced through possibilities. He could run, hide in the wilderness until the military left, but that would make him look guilty. It would reinforce every bad story about humans, and it would leave the survivors to face questions about why they had helped him escape. He could stay and hope for the best. But if Quan decided to arrest him, it could take months to sort out. Months away from Bora and Hana. Months in a Velkan cell while they investigated, or he could stay and trust that the truth would be enough. Trust that these survivors would stand up for him. Trust that even a prejudiced commander would listen to evidence. It wasn't much of a choice. Running would solve nothing. Staying was the only real option. I'm staying, he said finally. We'll face this together. Are you sure? Da-sam asked. No, but it's the right thing to do. While they waited, Hyunwoo decided to teach the survivors some basic skills. If rescue was coming, he wanted to make sure they could take care of themselves until it arrived. He showed them how to purify water using the portable filter from his pack. He demonstrated how to signal for help using reflective surfaces and the emergency beacon. He taught them basic first aid techniques that could be done with minimal supplies. Ji-won watched him carefully as he worked. Why are you teaching us this? Rescue is coming. Because knowing these things keeps you alive. And because I want you to understand that survival skills aren't about being strong or tough. They're about being prepared and smart. Anyone can learn them. Sungmin nodded approvingly. You are a good teacher, Hyunwoo. Patient and clear. I practice on my daughter. She's 7. If I can explain something to Hana, I can explain it to anyone. The old Velkan smiled. You must miss her very much. Every day. Every hour. Hyunwoo looked down at his hands. Being out here, so far from home, is the hardest thing I've ever done. Harder than any storm or danger. The loneliness is worse than anything else. Then why do you do it? Ji-won asked softly. Because I want Hana to grow up in a better galaxy. One where humans aren't feared. Where we're understood. Where species help each other instead of being afraid of each other. He looked at Da-sam. I want her to have friends like your sister. Friends who see humans as people, not monsters. Da-sam felt tears in her eyes again. This human, this kind and gentle person, was about to be judged by someone who hated his species. It wasn't right. When Quan arrives, Da-sam said firmly, I'll speak first. I'll tell him exactly what happened. I'll make him understand. We all will, Sungmin added. The truth is powerful. We must trust in it. Hours passed. The sun climbed higher. Then in the distance they saw it. A ship growing larger as it approached. Sleek and military, bristling with weapons. It landed near the wreckage with a roar of engines. Hyunwoo stood up slowly. Whatever happens, thank you all. These past days have meant more to me than you know. The ship's door opened. Soldiers poured out, weapons ready. They moved in formation, professional and alert. And at the center of them walked Commander Quan. He was older, with scars across his face and a hard expression in his eyes. Those eyes found Hyunwoo immediately. The commander's hand went to his weapon. Human, Quan said. His voice was cold and sharp. Step away from the survivors, now. Hyunwoo raised his hand slowly, palms out. I'm not armed. I'm here to help. That's what you all say. Quan gestured to his soldiers. Secure the human. Carefully, they're dangerous even when they appear docile. Before the soldiers could move, Da-sam stepped forward. She placed herself between Hyunwoo and the weapons. Commander Quan! You must listen to us. This human saved our lives. Step aside, citizen. You're in shock. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. Dasam's voice rang out clear and strong. My name is Dasam. I was thrown from the crash during landing. I ran through a plasma storm to survive. This human, Hyunwoo, opened his station to me when I would have died. He sheltered me, fed me, protected me. Then he helped me find my sister and the other survivors. He brought us food and water and medicine. He has done nothing but help us. Sungmin stepped forward next, leaning on Jiwon for support. The girl speaks truth, Commander. I am Sungmin. I have lived many years. I have seen much. This human could have harmed us easily. We were weak and helpless. Instead, he healed us. He taught us. He treated us with kindness and respect. Jiwon added her voice. He has a family, Commander. A wife and daughter. He showed us their pictures. He spoke of them with love. Does that sound like a criminal to you? One by one, all the survivors spoke up. All testified to Hyunwoo's actions. All defended him. Kwon listened, his expression never changing. When they finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Your stories are consistent, he said finally. But stories can be rehearsed. Humans are clever. They know how to manipulate. Then check the evidence, Hyunwoo said calmly. My station computer, Taeyang, has logs of everything. When Dasom arrived, when I sent the distress call. The timeline will prove I couldn't have caused the crash. I was in my station during the entire event. Kwon studied Hyunwoo's face. The human stood straight, unafraid, meeting the commander's gaze. No guilt in those eyes. No deception. Commander, one of the younger soldiers said. A female named Minji. Permission to speak? Granted. Sir, I've been reviewing the crash site data. The damage is consistent with engine failure. There's no evidence of external sabotage or weapon fire. This was an accident. Kwon's jaw tightened. Slowly, very slowly, he removed his hand from his weapon. Then it appears I owe you an apology, human. You owe me nothing, Hyunwoo said quietly. You were doing your job, protecting your people. I respect that. For a moment, something like surprise crossed Kwon's scarred face. Then he turned to his soldiers. Stand down. Secure the survivors for medical transport. The tension broke. Soldiers lowered weapons and moved to help. Medical personnel rushed forward with supplies and equipment. Dasam rushed to Hyunwoo and embraced him. You're safe. You're okay. Thanks to all of you, he said, returning the embrace carefully. You stood up for me when it mattered most. Sungmin approached Kwon. Commander, perhaps this is a lesson for us all. Fear makes us see enemies where there are none. This human is proof that not all the stories are true. Kwon looked at Hyunwoo again. His expression was still hard, still scarred by old battles. But perhaps, just perhaps, something had shifted. Perhaps was all he said. Part 6. Confrontation and Truth. The medical team worked quickly to stabilize the survivors. Hyunwoo watched from a distance, giving them space. The soldiers kept glancing at him nervously. He understood. Years of propaganda and war stories didn't disappear in a single afternoon. Commander Kwon stood apart from his troops, arms crossed, watching everything. His face was like stone. Hyunwoo could see the old warrior struggling with something inside, belief fighting against evidence, prejudice fighting against truth. Finally, Kwon walked over. He stopped a careful distance away. Not threatening, but not friendly either. I need to ask you questions, Kwon said. Official questions. For my report. Of course. Why are you on this planet alone? I'm a xenobiologist. I study how life adapts to extreme environments. Kasara 7 is perfect for that research. I've been here 3 years. 3 years alone. Kwon's expression shifted slightly. That must be difficult. It is. But the work is important. Why did you help the survivors? You could have reported the crash and waited for our rescue teams. Hyunwoo met Kwon's eyes directly. Because they would have died waiting. The storm lasted 6 days. They had no food or water. By the time your ships arrived, it would have been too late. You risked your life, your supplies. For strangers? Yeah, why? The simple question hung in the air. Hyunwoo thought about how to answer, how to explain something that seemed obvious to him but apparently wasn't obvious to everyone. Because they needed help, he said finally. Because I could help. That's enough reason. It's that simple for humans? For some of us, yes. Maybe not all. But for many. Hyunwoo paused. Commander, I know you fought against human forces. I know you lost friends. I'm sorry for your losses. War is terrible. It leaves scars that never fully heal. Quan's jaw tightened. You know nothing of my losses. You're right. I don't. But I know what it's like to lose people I cared about. I know what it's like to carry pain. And I know that pain can make us see the world in ways that aren't always accurate. Are you saying I'm wrong about humans? I'm saying maybe you're wrong about all humans. Some humans are violent. Some are cruel. But some are kind. Some are healers. Some are teachers and parents and scientists who just want to understand the universe better. Quan was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I watched humans fight during the border wars. I saw them refuse to surrender even when their ships were destroyed. I saw them keep fighting with terrible injuries that should have killed them. I saw them drag wounded companions back to safety while under fire. I thought they were insane. Monsters who didn't know when to stop. And now I wonder if I was seeing something else. Something I didn't understand at the time. What's that? Loyalty, determination, love for their fellow soldiers. Quan's voice was softer now. The same things I felt for my own troops. The same reasons I fought so hard. The same reasons I still serve. Hyunwoo nodded slowly. Maybe we're not so different after all. Maybe. Quan uncrossed his arms. Your actions here today reflect well on your species. I will include that in my report. Perhaps it will help others see what I am beginning to see. What's that? That humans are not monsters. Just people. Complicated, stubborn, frustratingly durable people. The corner of Quan's mouth twitched. Almost a smile. Perhaps people who could be allies instead of enemies. Minji, the young soldier, approached them. Commander, the survivors are ready for transport. They're all stable. No critical injuries. Good work. Quan turned to Hyunwoo. You did well with the first aid. Professional level treatment. Where did you learn? Basic training for all humans who work in remote locations. We have to be able to handle emergencies ourselves since help is often far away. Practical. Quan gestured to the medical ship. We'll be taking the survivors to the main colony for full treatment. You're welcome to come with us. You'll need to give a full statement for the official record. Will I be detained? No. You'll be treated as a witness and good Samaritan. Actually, Quan paused, seeming to struggle with something. I want to thank you. Officially, you saved 4 Velkin lives when you didn't have to. That deserves recognition. Dasam ran over before Hyunwoo could respond. Commander, please. Hyunwoo needs to contact his family. He's been alone for so long, and now with all this happening, they'll be worried. Quan nodded. Of course. We have communication equipment on the ship. You can use it freely. The group began moving toward the military ship. Hyunwoo walked beside Dasam with Jiwon on her other side. Sungmin moved slowly behind them, helped by 2 soldiers. I can't believe this is happening, Jiwon said quietly. When I first saw you, I thought we were all dead. I thought the human would kill us. Instead, you saved us, and now you're being honored. It's like something from a story. Life is strange sometimes, Hyunwoo said with a smile. They boarded the ship. It was cramped and military, designed for function rather than comfort. But it was warm and safe. The survivors were taken to a medical bay. Hyunwoo was shown to a small communication room. Take your time, Quan said. Call your family. They should know you're safe. Hyunwoo sat down at the communication console and entered his home frequency. The wait seemed to last forever. Then the screen flickered to life. Bora's face appeared. Her eyes went wide. Hyunwoo. Oh, thank goodness. We saw the news about a crashed ship near your station. We were so worried. I'm fine. I'm safe. Hyunwoo felt his throat tighten with emotion. Just seeing her face made everything feel okay again. Daddy. A small face pushed into view. Hana, his daughter, grinning with a missing front tooth. Daddy, are you coming home soon? I hope so, little flower. I hope so. Did you really save aliens from a spaceship crash? The news said a human was involved and we thought maybe it was you. Hyunwoo laughed. Yes, I helped some people who were in trouble. I'll tell you all about it when I see you. Were they scary? No, they were nice. I made friends. You always make friends, Daddy, even with the bugs and plants. That's because friendship is important. More important than being afraid. They talked for a few more minutes. Bora told him about things happening at home. Hana showed him a drawing she had made of him. It was crude but beautiful. A stick figure man surrounded by stars. That's you exploring, Hana explained. The hero scientist. I'm not a hero, sweetheart. Yes, you are. Mom says so. Bora smiled. Come home safe, my love. We miss you. I miss you too. So much. When the call ended, Hyunwoo sat in silence for a moment. His chest felt tight with longing. He wanted to be home, to hold his wife and daughter, to sleep in his own bed, to live a normal life. But he also knew this work mattered. These connections he was making mattered. Every bridge built between humans and other species made the galaxy a little safer for Hana's future. He wiped his eyes and left the communication room. In the medical bay, he found the survivors being treated by professional medical staff. Dasum saw him and smiled. "Better now?" she asked. "Yes. Much better." Sungmin called out from his medical bed. "Hyunwoo, come here. I want to tell you something." Hyunwoo approached. The old Velkin looked tired but peaceful. "I've been thinking," Sungmin said, "about what happened here. About the story of these days. I'm a writer, you know. I write articles for our news services. I want to write about this experience. About you. Me? Why? Because people need to know. The real truth about humans, not the stories and propaganda. I want to write about the human who saved strangers in a storm, who taught us and protected us, who stood bravely when facing armed soldiers even though he could have run." Sungmin smiled. "I want to write about a hero named Hyunwoo. I'm not a hero. I just did what anyone should do. That's exactly what makes you a hero. You did the right thing because it was right, not for glory or reward, just because it needed to be done." Sungmin reached out and took Hyunwoo's hand. His grip was weak but warm. "Thank you, my friend. For everything. You're welcome." Across the medical bay, Jiwon was talking to Minji, the young soldier. Their voices carried over. "So you want to study xenoanthropology?" Jiwon asked. "Yes. I realized today that I don't know anything about other species. Not really. Just rumors and military briefings. I want to understand. To really understand." Minji glanced at Hyunwoo. "That human made me realize how much I've been missing. How much fear has closed me off from learning." "That's very wise," Jiwon said. "I want to be wise like him. Patient and kind. Someone who helps instead of hurts." Commander Kwan entered the medical bay. He looked around at his troops, at the survivors, at Hyunwoo. Something in his expression had changed, softened. "We'll be departing for the colony in 1 hour," he announced. "All survivors are cleared for travel. Hyunwoo, you'll be our guest of honor. The colony council wants to meet you, to thank you personally." "That's not necessary," Hyunwoo said. "Perhaps not, but it's happening anyway." Kwan actually smiled. A small smile, but real. "Besides, they need to see that humans aren't all monsters. You're proof of that. Living proof." As the ship prepared for departure, Hyunwoo looked around at these people who had been strangers just days ago. Now they were friends, allies. Proof that fear could be overcome. That understanding could replace prejudice. One person at a time. One act of kindness at a time. One story at a time. It was a beginning. 3 weeks passed. Hyunwoo returned to his research station after giving his statement to the colony authorities. They had treated him well, with respect and gratitude. The story of the rescue had spread quickly through Velkin news networks. Sungmin's article, titled 6 Days with a Human, had been read by millions, but Hyunwoo was happy to return to his quiet work, to his plants and his research, to the solitude he had grown used to over 3 years. Then one morning, his sensors detected incoming ships. Multiple ships. He went to the window and stared in surprise. 3 vessels were landing near his station. Not military this time. Civilian transports. The doors opened and people emerged. Velkins. He recognized them immediately. Dasum ran toward the station waving. Jiwon followed behind her, along with Sungmin moving more slowly with a walking stick. But there were others too. Official-looking Velkins in formal clothing. Hyunwoo opened the door and stepped outside. Dasum reached him first and embraced him without hesitation. "Surprise," she said, laughing. "Did you miss us?" "What are you all doing here?" "We brought visitors," Jiwon explained. "Important visitors. From the Ministry of Science." One of the formally dressed Velkins stepped forward. She was older, with silver scales that shimmered in the sunlight. "Hyunwoo, I am Minister Echa. I oversee scientific cooperation and cultural exchange for the Velkin government. I came to make you an offer." "An offer?" "Yes. Your actions in Sungmin's article have caused quite a stir in our society. Many Velkins are reconsidering their views about humans. We want to build on this moment. Create something positive from it." She gestured to an aide who brought forward a digital document. "We propose a joint research project. Velkin and human scientists working together on this planet. We want to learn from human endurance training and survival techniques. In exchange, we'll provide resources, funding, and share our bioadaptation technology. Hyunwoo stared at the document. You want to establish a joint research station here? Yes, with you as the lead human researcher. Your work on extreme environment adaptation is exactly what we need, and having humans and Velkans working side by side will help both our peoples understand each other better. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Dasom urged. I've already applied to be the cultural liaison officer. If you accept, I'll be working here. We'll be colleagues. Hyunwoo looked at her in surprise. You want to work here? What about your life on Velka? My life on Velka is fine, but I want to do something important, something that matters. Dasom's eyes were bright with determination. You inspired me, Hyunwoo. You showed me that running toward danger to help others is better than running away from it. I want to be someone who builds bridges, someone who helps species understand each other. She's been impossible to talk out of it, Ji-won said with a smile. Trust me, I tried. But she's developed what I call human stubbornness. Everyone laughed. Hyunwoo felt warmth spreading through his chest. This lonely planet wouldn't be lonely anymore. He would have colleagues, friends, people to share the work with. There's more, Sungmin added. My article has had an unexpected effect. Applications from other species wanting to work with humans have increased significantly. Not just Velkans, others too. The Federation Council is considering new cultural exchange programs. All because of one article? All because of one good deed, Sungmin corrected. You showed people that humans aren't what the stories claimed. You showed them the truth. And truth is powerful, Hyunwoo. More powerful than fear. Minister Acha spoke again. We've also received a communication from Commander Kwan. He's written a formal commendation for your actions. It will be added to the official record. He also sent a personal letter for you. She handed Hyunwoo a sealed envelope. He opened it and read the brief message inside. The letter was simple and direct, very much like Kwan himself. It acknowledged that Kwan had allowed prejudice to cloud his judgment. It thanked Hyunwoo for his patience and for showing that not all the old stories were true. It ended with a single line that made Hyunwoo smile. Perhaps this old soldier can still learn new truths. That's quite something, Hyunwoo said quietly. For a man like Kwan to write that. Change is hard, Minister Acha said, especially for those who have fought and bled for their beliefs. But change is necessary. Your actions have started something important. We want to support it, build on it, make it grow. They spent the rest of the day touring the station and discussing plans for the expansion. Engineers examined the site and made notes. Scientists reviewed Hyunwoo's research and asked excited questions. Dasom walked through the facility with a dreamy expression, already imagining herself working there. That evening, as the sun set, Hyunwoo and Dasom sat outside the station. The 3 moons of Kazara 7 began to rise, painting the sky in shades of silver and blue. Are you scared? Dasom asked. About all these changes? A little, Hyunwoo admitted. I've gotten used to being alone. Having so many people here will be different. But good different. Yes, good different, he smiled at her. I'm glad you'll be here. You were my first friend on this planet. It's fitting that you'll be here for the next chapter too. When I first saw you, I was so afraid, Dasom said softly. I thought you were a monster. I thought I was going to die. And now? Now I know the truth. You're not a monster. You're just a person. A good person who tries to do the right thing even when it's hard. She paused. Actually, that's wrong. You're not just a person. You're a friend. A teacher. Someone I admire very much. You've changed too, you know. The Dasom who ran into my station during that storm was terrified of everything. The Dasom sitting here now is brave enough to move to a frontier planet to help build bridges between species. You taught me that. You taught me that being brave doesn't mean not being afraid. It means being afraid but doing the important thing anyway. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the moons rise. In the distance, the other Velkans were setting up a temporary camp. Tomorrow they would begin planning the expanded facility. The beginning of something new. Hyunwoo, Dasom said suddenly. When your family comes to visit, can I meet them? I want to meet the people who made you who you are. Of course. They'll love you. Hana especially. She's been asking about the brave alien her daddy helped. I can't wait. 6 months later, the new facility was complete. The Velkin Human Research Station on Kasera 7 was official. Hyunwoo stood at the main observation window, watching ships arrive and depart. Scientists from a dozen different species now worked there. The lonely outpost had become a hub of cooperation and learning. Dasim worked beside him, reviewing applications for the next round of researchers. She had proven to be an excellent liaison, helping bridge not just the gap between humans and Velkins, but between all the different species at the facility. "We got 3 more applications today," she said. "One from a human university, one from a Velkin medical institute, and one from a species I've never heard of called the Narix. They want to study plant adaptation. Accept all 3 if they're qualified. The more diverse our team, the better." "Agreed." Dasam made notes on her datapad. Then she looked up with excitement. "Oh, I almost forgot. The transport manifest for tomorrow has a special notation." "What kind of notation?" "VIP guests. 2 of them." Dasam grinned. "I think your family is finally arriving." Hyunwoo's heart leaped. "Bora and Hana? Tomorrow?" "Tomorrow. The facility has been certified safe for families. Your quarters have been expanded. Everything is ready." Hyunwoo felt tears prick his eyes. 3 years apart was finally ending. His family was coming here. They would be together again. That night he barely slept. The next day he stood at the landing pad watching the sky. Dasam stood beside him, along with Jiwon, Sungmin, and many others from the facility. The transport landed. The door opened. And then she was there, Bora, looking exactly as beautiful as he remembered, and beside her Hana, who had grown so much in 3 years but still had the same bright eyes. Hyunwoo ran forward. They met in a 3-way embrace, holding each other tight. He felt Bora's tears on his neck. He heard Hana's happy laughter. For a moment nothing else existed, just his family together again. When they finally separated, Hana looked around with wide eyes. "Daddy, this place is amazing." "And are those the aliens you saved?" "Yes, little flower. Come meet them." He introduced Bora and Hana to Dasam first. Dasam knelt down to Hana's level. "Hello, Hana. Your daddy has told me so much about you. He showed me your drawings. You're very talented." Hana studied Dasam with a child's frank curiosity. "You have pretty scales." "They're shiny. Thank you. Your daddy saved my life, you know. And my sister's life. And several others, I know. Daddy's a hero." Hana said it with simple certainty. "He saves people. That's what heroes do." "Yes," Dasam agreed. "That's exactly what heroes do." They spent the day showing Bora and Hana around the facility. Everywhere they went, people greeted them warmly. Human researchers and alien scientists working together, learning from each other, building something new. That evening, the entire facility gathered for a welcome celebration. It was crowded and noisy and wonderful. Different species shared food and stories. Laughter filled the common areas. Sungmin gave a short speech,